Om Namah Shivaya, Ancestral Fire, here on The Way of Dharma. Now, before we continue, I'd like to set up something first, and then we'll continue just now. Thank you. What is it doing, man? Okay, I think for now we'll continue with just this. Let me try and attempt it in another way, because now I'm facing challenges. Oh man, this cable is short, bruv. Anyway, our topic for today, I'm going to speak about a few things, including the subject of ancestors, which is, by the way, influenced by this current season we are in. The season we are in is called PitruPaksha, which is a season whereby the ancestors are closest to the planet Earth at this time, due to energetical reasons. So we also have this culture and tradition even in African spirituality. You find that during the 2nd of November, people from Haiti have these Day of the Dead rituals that they perform for Baron Samedi, who is the god of the dead, basically. So we have these practices all over Africa during the certain time. This is where you get the celebration of Halloween, because of the energy at this time. So in Hinduism, we have a period whereby we propitiate our ancestors and remember our ancestors to remove ancestral curses. Among the ancestral curses, we have delay in marriage, we have unemployment, we have Down syndrome and diseases that are inherited from your ancestors. What is the cause of this? The cause of this may be due to many reasons. One of them being karmic reasons. The second being that the ancestors have not gone to a better place when they died. Spiritually, they don't go to a better place. There's different lokas. Satya Loka, known for its positive vibrations, which is one of the realms of positivity. So most of the ancestors, when they die, they go to lower realms, rendering them spiritually unfit to ascend to higher dimensions. So they cause problems in an individual's life because they want to have attention from that individual, basically. So you would find them doing all these funny things to get the attention of the individual, to finally propitiate and do practices which will allow them or enable them to ascend into higher dimensions. So this practice helps with this thing, basically. When you propitiate your ancestors during this PitruPaksha, you are able to give them energy, and it will help them to ascend into higher realms. What are the advantages of giving them energy? When you give your ancestors energy, you render them powerful, because now you help them ascend. One. Number two, when you help them ascend, the energy that they have, they are able to manipulate your reality to help you into better positions in life. Number three, when you give them energy, you render them powerful and not susceptible to wrongdoers. What are wrongdoers, or who are the wrongdoers? The wrongdoers consist of many types of negative energies. One of them being the Brahma Rakshasa. What is a Brahma Rakshasa? A wizard who has died and then has a spirit which torments, basically. So a wizard is someone who basically, or let's say a sorcerer, someone who goes about ruining people's lives and throwing curses at people. So when they die, they are spirits, they don't rest, basically. They go into these dimensions where they enable themselves to torture people and cause havoc in people's lives because they want to continue and get that power that they have attained while they were sorcerers. So those are the beings that are likely to take advantage of your ancestors. So when your ancestors have energy, they are not susceptible to such beings. Another type of beings would be the demons, the asuras. What is an asura? An asura is a spirit of a low vibration frequency that does sadhana to get some level of power, to basically have occult power, basically. So these spirits, they have kingdoms, basically, that they rule, and then under those kingdoms, they have these spirits working for them, the spirits of your ancestors. So if your ancestors is not getting energy, the Brahma Rakshasa, the Asuras, and the negative sorcerers that are still alive even today, they give them energy, leaving them indebted to them. So your ancestors feel obliged to do favors for them because now they get energy from them. So when you do your rituals, your ancestors automatically get the energy from your rituals. So they can't be used for wrongdoings. So another phenomena that I'd like to talk about, which was mentioned by Brother Travis Megas in an interview with those guys, VK Jehoanam and that other guy. Yes. So he once mentioned that these Goetic kings, like King Paimon, Andras, and those other demons, they have legends working under them. You find that they say under this certain spirit, certain legends work under that spirit. Where do those legends come from? They come from the ancestors that have died in the slave ships, the ancestors all throughout the beginning of creation, those who their spirits were not claimed, basically, those who their spirits were not being propitiated, those whom their spirits were not receiving any rituals from their families. So these kings, demonic kings, they give these spirits nourishment and they rule them, so they work under them. So also the deities that we worship in Hinduism, they have subservient deities that work under them, and then finally into these lower entities. So that's how it works. So when you don't do rituals for your ancestors, you're making them susceptible to such predatory spirits, basically. Let's talk about the second segment of this thing, basically this video, which consists of witchcraft. Witchcraft, guys, to mention a few things about witchcraft, I've noticed that it's so prevalent in our lives that it is often the most overlooked subject in occult spheres. Witchcraft is being done by people who mean to do harm to us. So it is vital that you know these things and you know how to defend yourself. I wanted to go deeper into this, but for some reason, I keep on forgetting something that I wanted to point out to you guys. A very, very intriguing point that I wanted to mention to you guys. However, all I can say that is witchcraft is prevalent and we should be aware on how to defeat these things. So when these spirits take over your ancestors, what can they do? They can use your ancestors to spy on you. One is one of the many uses of your ancestors. Two, your ancestors, when a person dies and they have no one working for them, basically giving them energy, they are susceptible and they can do many things. Another method that they do here in South Africa, you go to a dead person's grave, you take their spirit, and then you send them for possession for an unknowing person, or an unsuspicious, unwitting person, basically. You send them to possess them. So this is where you get the spirit where people just can't achieve success because they can't do some certain things. When they go into class, they always sleepy. They can't perform to their optimum level because they have these spirits that are possessing them. Some people have spiritual wives and spiritual husbands. Some of these spirits are the ancestors of other people that have been sent to torment and destroy the lives of victims, basically. So this is what I've observed in my short years of occult and spiritual practice. It is vital to always remember your ancestors. It is vital to always do sadhana for your ancestors, because another factor about your ancestors, you have your mind, guys. Your mind is a place of information, basically. This is where you convey information from time immemorial to us. So in that information, you have the influence of your ancestors, you have the influence of all the entire beings in creation. You have basically the cosmic mind, as within, so without. So the mind, which is cosmic, is also inside of you. So whatever that's out there in the cosmos, it's inside you. So these spirits have influence over you because now you share the same mind. When you live as a person, the influence of your ancestors is there. So some of their desires, when they die, they can't fulfill them. So they get to be fulfilled by you. So you are a person who's acting unconsciously under your ancestors' will, basically, because they want to experience certain things through you. I mean, it's also prevalent in today's days to live through someone, to see the connection that we have with each and every individual here on the human planet. You are able to experience things through people. Suppose maybe you want a girl. There's a girl that you want to approach, but because your friend is better looking than you, you ask your friend to approach that girl, and when he does and finally gets to be with that girl, you experience whatever he's experiencing through him. So you are able to project yourself into his situations or her situations. If you have a girl friend and you are a girl, you are asking your girl to date such and such a guy because she's better looking than you. So you are living through that person. So even as human beings, alive as we are, conscious as we think we are, other people have influence over us. So our ancestors who are in our DNA, they have a strong, tremendous impact in our mental processes. This is what I wanted to mention to you. Stay away from the practices of witchcraft, which are what? Trying to destroy people's lives using occult powers, because now you will find people like us. I'm not saying that I'm a master in these things, but I'm saying that all I'm saying is this. Basically, all I'm saying is this: the gods that I worship, I don't think there's any human being who has such occult power as they do. And if there is, I don't think he would be wasting his or her time bewitching people, basically. So anyone else who hasn't reached that level, don't dabble in such things. Oh, the one thing that I wanted to say, regarding occult power. I was speaking to someone today, and he told me of and he told me of a sorcerer who was basically devouring people to get occult power. The other ways to get occult power is to befriend or to be in associations or alliances with these lower entities that I spoke of, the asuras, the demons. Another way is to find a ghost that has basically a Brahma Rakshasa, a ghost of a sorcerer, ancient sorcerer who has occult power. You worship them, you do pacts with them, and then they get to give you power. Occult power, basically. That's how you can get occult power in occult spheres. You either do that, or you can do thousands of years of rituals for the supreme beings like Mahadeva, who is Lord Shiva, or the goddess of Tantra, who is Devi Baglamukhi. Or you can do sadhana for the planets, and they can give you such boons and spiritual powers, supernatural powers. So often people want to run to these lower vibrating entities because they want fast power. But then these entities, they want people in their army. They want spirits in their army. So they'll give you boons, those boons, and in those pacts, there's certain rules that you need to follow. What you don't know is that these entities will use witchcraft on you so that you don't follow those rules, and then when you don't follow those rules, they devour you into their army. Another thing that you don't know, these entities and spirits, they get their powers from these supreme beings that I'm speaking of, the Mahadeva, the goddess of Tantra, and the supreme beings, the higher supreme beings. How do they get them? Remember, these are spirits. They've been doing sadhana for thousands and hundreds of thousands of years. So they get some occult power from these devas and devatas that I'm speaking of. So they get powers from them. What you could do, bypass the middlemen who are these Brahma Rakshasas and these Bhutas, which are ghosts. Bypass them and go straight to Mahadeva. Do your tapas. There's mantras that you can do for long life. Hopefully, you can get occult power, if not in this life, in another lifetime. But I warn you against dealing with these spirits. What do you see happening in the occult spheres of the Western Hemisphere? You get people like J.S. Garrett, you get people like E.A. Koetting, that have these spirits influencing people to do sacrifices and killings because they want to get such occult power. Remember now, these spirits, they want to devour you. I am sounding like a Christian now. They want to get you into their army so that you can work for them. And unfortunately, once you do that, their contracts, you will be there for lifetimes, basically, which is a long time to be working for anything, because you would be in spirit form It doesn't matter if you are tired, because you have done certain pacts. You will be subservient to those entities. Be careful of how you approach this occult life. I suggest that you take the long route, and I want to address people on, okay, I'll do it in another video. This is what I wanted to discuss with you so far. Guys, I still sell products. I still sell japmalas. I still sell rings. I still sell bracelets. These things protect you from such people who want to cast magic upon you. Ever since I've been wearing these things, a lot has been happening, and the people that have been testing me, unfortunately, they can't come over here to speak to you. But if they could, they would tell you that what they are doing, they almost die because of what they do. Not mainly because of these things, but these things strengthen your aura so that you are impenetrable. What I want to tell you about these things is that, remember, we are living in the mind, in the cosmic mind, basically. So certain frequencies in the mind, in the cosmic mind, retain a certain thought form. If you have a metal, it has its properties. This is a thought form. The properties of this metal are a thought form. So in the cosmic mind, in the cosmic memory, it is remembered that these things help you with confidence, help you with protection. So in this form, it's a thought form that is always remembering that these things have properties of protection and properties of confidence. So it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thought form. Even when you are not consciously thinking of these properties, they are active unconsciously. So wearing these things help you when you are unconscious of the fact that you are having these properties inside of you. So instead of thinking yourself into safety and protecting yourself and thinking about these properties, you could pay attention and meditate on becoming better and evolving into higher practices of spirituality. So how do you do that? You buy these thought forms that will help you along the way. I still sell such products. Another Devata known by the name Shukracharya, who is Lord Shukra, who was later known to be Lord Shukra, is actually the planet Venus in Hindu spirituality. The planet Shukra was doing tapas, sadhana, spiritual practice to Lord Shiva for a very, very long time. And he was able to have the spiritual power of reviving his asuras. Each time when they die, he would resurrect them back into life. This is such an example of such beings who go into power by starting from maybe a human spirit, a human soul, and then you do tapas to certain deities. You will get boons, and then you will reach the place where you want to reach. So this is another explanation of such things I wanted to discuss with you guys. Thank you for paying attention. Never forget your ancestors. This is a wonderful time to be doing those practices. If you need help with those, I can help you. Find me at asenes.fya@gmail.com, and I'll be able to reply to your messages for consultations. And I also offer numerological readings, which I will help you know characteristics about yourself using numbers. For mantra sadhana, how to activate mantras and the long ritual of invocation of mantras, and homams, which is a fire ritual where you offer offerings into the fire to awaken the mantra. I also teach you that. Email me at asenest.fya@gmail.com. Om Namah Shivaya, Asenest Fire, here on the way of Dharma. Om Gananahan Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyesthara Brahmana Brahmanaspata Ana Shrunvanhuti Bhisi Dasadanam Mahaganapataye Namaha Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirviginam Guru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Ganganapataye Namaha Ekadantaya Vitmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dantif Prachodayata. Om Lam Namaste Ganapataye Tvameva Pratyaksham Tadvamasi Tvameva Kevalam Kartasi. Yes, guys, I also help with chanting. Thank you. Om Namah Shivaya, Asenest Fire.